Well, good afternoon, members of council, members of our management team. We have 6 attendees that have logged on. Welcome to the Town of Stephenville's public meeting. It is December the 5th, 2024, great Christmas month. I do love Christmas, I just want to say that. And it is 12:06. I would call the meeting to order. Number 2, before we start our agenda, we'll do our land acknowledgement. We respectfully acknowledge the Town of Stephenville as the ancestral homeland of different populations of indigenous people. We also acknowledge with respect the rich histories and cultures of the Beothuk, the Mi'kmaq, Innu, and Inuit of the province of Newfoundland and Labrador. Item number 3, I would ask a member of council to move to approve the agenda as circulated.
Move.
Moved by Councilor Darren Roberts, second by Councilor Tom O'Brien. All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Okay, item number 4 will be approval of minutes. Number 1, be it resolved to approve our public meeting of council minutes dated November 21st, 2024. I would ask a member of council we approve those minutes.
Move.
Moved by Councilor Darren Roberts, second Councilor Maurice Hines. All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Item number 2, 4.2. Be it resolved to approve a special meeting of council minutes dated November 29, 2024. I have a member of council to move. Moved by Deputy Mayor Susan Fallow, second Councilor Laura Elward. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That was for Capital Works.
Capital Works, yeah, submissions. Okay, now item number 5, matters arising from those minutes. Are there any matters arising? I hear no matters arising. We will move on. Proclamation and delegation. I understand we have none today. Okay. Item number 7, committee reports. I'm going to turn it to our chair of finance, Councilor Myra White, for our finance committee. Item 7. Take it away.
Thank you. The Finance Committee met on December the 2nd. The following items were recommended for council approval. Item number 1, accounts payable. Be it resolved to pay accounts payable dated December the 5th, 2024 in the amount of $40,101.38. I so move.
Moved by Councilor Myra White, seconded.
Second.
Second, Councilor Darren Roberts. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We're always going for long time.
I know. If we had them for the 23 meetings we had per year, we'd be in good financial shape.
Well, we can. Darren knows how.
Item number 2, water and sewer tax. Be it resolved to approve water and sewer adjustments in the amount of $1,165.64. I so move.
Moved by Councilor Myra White, seconder. Second, Councilor Maurice Hines. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Carried.
Item number 3, miscellaneous account. Be it resolved to approve write-off on miscellaneous account in the amount of $780.56. I so move.
Moved by Councilor Myra White, seconder.
Second.
Second, Councilor Darren Roberts. I'm wondering from the CAO could get a little information on that miscellaneous account because I haven't seen many of them come through.
Yeah, we'll gather that and hopefully before the end of the meeting, just to, because I know it was reviewed in detail at the finance committee with the detail.
Okay.
So it was approved as being acceptable. So matter arising from a previous matter.
Okay.
That has been reviewed.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
Yeah, we'll get
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Carried.
Item number 4, approve to award RFP 2024-10-001, 163 Minnesota Drive. Be it resolved to award RFP 2024-10-001 to the sole bidder Rock Physiotherapy and Wellness to purchase a parcel of land located at 163 Carolina Avenue in the amount of $110,189 or $3.70 a square foot. I so move.
Is this supposed to be Carolina or Minnesota?
No, Minnesota.
That was supposed to be,
Supposed to be Minnesota.
It's Minnesota. Minnesota.
it's a typo there.
No? I've-
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Carolina
Carolina in the,
should be changed.
Yeah. in the
Minnesota.
heading, Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Body of the.
Can we know, Senator, that Carolina, we switched up to Minnesota?
Do you want me to reread it?
Yes.
Okay. Item number 4, approve to award RFP 2024-10-001, 163 Minnesota Drive. Be it resolved to award RFP 2024-10-001 to the Soul Physiotherapy and Wellness
Seeing it's Minnesota.
to purchase a parcel of land located at 163 Minnesota Drive in the amount of $110,189 or 3.72 per square foot. I so move.
Moved by Councilmember White, seconder.
Second.
Second, Council Tom O'Brien, question?
No, just that it also came before the planning committee and it was, the document was really well done and the price was very good, definitely good.
I'd just like to say on it, it's so nice that area now with the hospital, the new medical clinic, the flagship of the College of North Atlantic is in Stephenville, by the way, of all physical structures. But it's almost like it's an institutional medical campus that's being there. And, you know, you got the Acadian home. So there's a bit of a theme that it seems to fit right to have a new physiotherapy there. So I kind of like it. And it's so nice that we're able to have some of our assets, such as land, that we can sell to the private sector. Because every time we sell a piece of land, that helps with our administration costs, our capital costs, our recreational costs, and everything that we do in spending our $10 million per year. So on that note, all in favor? Carried.
Item number 5 is a request for donation to the annual Christmas Community Cafe. Be it resolved to approve $500 to the Southwestern Newfoundland Housing Stability Initiatives, HSI, for their annual Christmas Community Cafe being held at the Stephenville Lions Club. I so move.
Moved by Councilmember White, seconder. Second, Councilor Laura Elwer, all in favor?
Aye.
Carried.
Item number 6, a request for sponsorship. Be it resolved that the town of Stephenville sponsor the College of the North Atlantic Achievement Award in the award of $500. I so move.
Moved by Councilmember White, seconder. Second, Councilor Maurice Hines, all in favor?
Aye.
No, just that this has been an ongoing thing and it's really nice to see that the college is still awarding that achievement award.
Yeah.
It's really good for students.
And item number 7 is a request for donation for the Stephenville Caribou Curling Club. It was the recommendation of the committee to approve a grant in the amount of $20,000 to the Stephenville Caribou Curling Club. I so move.
Moved by Councilmember White, seconder.
Second.
Second, Councilor Tom O'Brien,
Question,
question?
is this an operating grant, 20,000? And is this consistent with previous years?
This is a request to facilitate the transfer of the facility to the town as per previous motion of council. There was an outstanding amount that had to be settled, but will be reclaimed back from the curling club when the town takes over the operations of the club itself. So in council has approved a loan which would see us borrowing money to support the upgrading of the club's refrigeration equipment. But this was operational monies, and we've offered to take over the operations club while we're getting it all upgraded and everything else. And this was a credit line that they had, which was against the property, prevented us from taking over the property and then facilitating the refurbishing of the property appropriately for our expenditures. So we have to offer this to them with a irrevocable direction that it be used to pay off the credit line. And then we can facilitate the transfer of the club property over to the town to go further with renovations.
And the second stage will be the recovery of,
And the next stage would be development of an appropriate lease that sees the recovery of both the monies for providing equipment as along with these operational costs on a regular basis. They normally operate on a cost recovery basis and manage to fulfill their obligations, but one of the big obligations has been the costs that go out the door every year on equipment that's not working well, and loss of freon or whatever the various pieces of that are, and excessive maintenance costs. So this is a part of the overall program. There's a lease yet to be negotiated on the property once it's upgraded, but that's a part of the discussions that are ongoing between the current club and the town.
okay,
And
thank you.
I just want to say too, once it officially transfers legally to the town of Stephenville, the opportunity possibly, I would think, that we can access grants from the Department of Tourism and Recreation is so much easier and faster than a community group can, because it's kind of in our wheelhouse, I guess, if I could say that. The other thing I just want to say too, that curling is truly a Canadian sport, and it is growing and growing and growing. And our club here brings in provincial tournaments. We've had Ryan McNeil that played with the Guju team as step in at one of the major tournaments. But just recently, I believe was it the Briar that was in St. John's?
No.
Was the
Kyoto Tour,
yes.
this is the Master Tour, yeah.
So at the Murray Brown Center, it was a full house. Now, who would have ever thought 20 years ago that you'd have a curling bonspiel of pan-Canadian scale or international scale and would have a full house? So it just goes to show how this sport is growing. We've often said hockey is Canada, the Bobby Orrs and the Gordie Howes and the Wayne Gretzky's of the world. I should be putting in a couple of Maple Leafs there because I'm a Maple Leaf fan.
No.
But
Let's not muddy the waters.
we're so appreciative of the board of directors and the executive that all they've done in the past with all of our community groups. So on that note, good discussion, all in favor.
Aye.
That was the last item on our finance.
Nothing else, Councilor White? Nothing. Okay, well, thank you very much for that. I'm going to now turn it over to Councilor Laura Aylward for planning and development. And I think there's only one item.
Yep. Yes.
So you can keep it short if you feel like it.
Yes.
There's a hint, Laura.
I'll try my best to keep it short. Okay, approval to issue RFP feasibility study. Be it resolved that the town of Stephenville issue a request for proposal for consulting services to complete child care center feasibility study. I so move.
Moved by Councilor Laura Aylward, seconder.
Second.
Second, Councilor Myra White, all in favor?
Question.
Questions? What I call.
What's the purpose of this feasibility? Is this a long-term view to the town of Stephenville build a child care facility, or is it just to see if it's feasible for private enterprise or another entity to build a facility?
so Mike Ratter's been dealing with this. Mike, can you comment on the rationale and if you?
It's to determine what that process is going to be, what the roadmap is. We understand that we want to do it with community partners. We have access, obviously, to funding that they don't. We have the childcare capacity initiative offers funding to municipalities specific. And the idea would be that the feasibility study would look at where it should be optimally, how it should be designed, what it would look like, what the kind of costs would be, what the operating arrangement could be, whether we can have partially in French language or not. And just really a roadmap to navigate through the complexity of the regulations. But really, we're applying for funding from ACOA and from the province to cover 90%. So our portion would be 10%. We went to submit an application to them and they asked that we fine tune the actual cost because we estimated it at 100,000 and they want us to issue this contingent on receiving funding in order to narrow down the exact cost to apply to them with specific.
But the second part is this a vision that the town would, as soon as feasibility comes, that says, yeah, it's feasible to have a childcare center and design everything else to build, the taxpayers team will build a childcare center and operate it?
Oh,
The stakeholders involved in childcare throughout the community is one of the groups that will be engaged in such a study. So again, as the town doesn't want to get into the business of running childcare centers, not our norm, but we can facilitate stakeholders' involvement appropriately and support. And that's really where we're coming from with this. So the eventual discussion that arises out of such an RFP and the group that will be the proponent, that the successful proponent of the RFP will help determine who does what, the W5, the whole circumstance that will help the community determine what its needs are. And then what role should the town play, what role, we know that provincial and federal governments will support with financial support, but there's also the new daycare programs which will support the operation. So, and we can't participate at all without some form of quality representation to government before we can even see if we can make the funding happen. So that's really where it's coming from.
So, any idea what this is going to cost us?
The initial estimate was 100,000.
Yeah,
For the feasibility study.
yes.
Less than 100,000.
But that's the total. What's the town? You say the town's portion?
10%.
10%,
$10,000.
$10,000 roughly.
So it could be 9.
We love that.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have right now a shortage of over 160 places in licensed daycare. That's a significant impact on the working population, particularly women, you know, that's how it is. Part of this is getting women still free and, you know, getting them access to funding.
Well, that's a common issue right across the country, and
Yeah,
Well,
so I think
other communities throughout Newfoundland and Labrador, some have advanced this more than the size of Stephenville, but others again are in the same situation as us. There's not enough daycare spaces in the community, and how do you help the community get there? That's really cool.
So it's basically the town is just going to be coordinating this with all the, I guess, stakeholders. That's the chief role of the town.
And the big thing here is, just to speak to it for a second, this is a collection of primary data. So when you get that collection completed, it's easier for the private sector then to look at their business modeling because sites are selected, numbers are numerics, everything is done. It's easier to get the private sector to come in to fill that void. Because at the end of the day, to attract people to come to Stephenville, if you don't have daycare, that could be a determination whether they're coming or not coming. So like in most communities.
that's phase like most communities. I know. I'm going through with my granddaughter in St. John's. We know. I know.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is good work.
Perfect.
So good discussion. All in favor?
I,
Carried. Okay, nothing late for planning, for management?
no, not
And
today.
not finished. Question?
No, when you go to number 8, so.
Okay. Bylaws and regulations, policies, anything there?
Okay, so I just wanted to mention that with the adoption of the new municipal act as of January 1, there are a number of bylaws that will be brought forward as revisions to current bylaws or establishing bylaws when necessary as a part, because we have a direction in that new legislation that we have to establish bylaws on certain elements. There is an if required element to the way the new legislation reads, but we're reviewing and preparing those right now for adoption before the end of December, if possible, if not early in January.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay, any unfinished business, new business?
I guess on ongoing business, the planning is well underway for the Christmas adventure on Main Street. It's going to take place on the 20th of November. Main Street going to shut down from the way to Boland. The street's going to shut down at 2 o'clock to give any time enough to get the street dressed up for a 5 o'clock start. And it's going to run from 5 to 9. So hopefully the weather will agree with us, and we certainly encourage people to come out and take part.
So is there a backup plan that if the weather is really rough, is it gonna go the next night?
Sunday.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I gotta call him.
You got to take.
I gotta talk.
Okay.
I gotta call him
It
for
always seems.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Anyways, I just,
Lakes and all.
I got one thing
We
here.
want a Hallmark show.
Lakes and all.
Yeah.
I just have one thing. I just want to let everybody know that now our website has now on its platform allows anybody to do the translation on our website to any language. The module has every language from Abkhaz to Zulu, including both French and French Canadian. So it's part of our Acadian proclamation that we work towards to bring back our Acadian culture. And we're expecting the delivery of our new bilingual signs for Main Street, West Street, and Queen Street in the next couple of weeks. And it appears that Public Works will be able to get them installed a couple of weeks after that. So over the next month, we'll start to see the signs being bilingual. That'll be a process that will take place over the next 12 months, but it's great for the community. It touches on our rich Acadian roots, which we have the Acadian flag just directly behind me. But I got to say, great work from Mike Ratter in our Economic Development Office. He's got many files, and this is the one that he's taken on. So great work, Mike. So.
You finished?
Yes, I am.
Oh, well, a couple of things. Monday, the 9th, is the Hospital Foundation annual Tree of Love at the hospital in the atrium, the courtyard there, at 7 o'clock. So anyone out there that wants to make a donation in memory of their loved ones, today is Thursday, so there will be people in the office from 1 to 3. So if they want to call in and, they can dial direct to 709-643-7478. And if they have trouble with that, just call the regular hospital number and get through that way. So it's an annual event, and St. George's had theirs, what night was it? Monday night, I guess. And it wasn't a very good night, but actually at that event, they took in $400, and with a small number of people attending, but they took in $400, and Dominion donated a tree to them. So that was good. Now Port we haven't heard from yet, but it's our event's going to be Monday night, so I would encourage people to get out. And usually Councillor O'Brien, we usually get a good attendance.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, with Carol singing and the Salvation Army and other people that are there. But the thing I was going to talk about today was I don't drive to Corner Brook. Well, I wouldn't drive anyway, but I don't go into Corner Brook unless I really got it. And Monday morning we drove in where I had an eye appointment, and we left here about 9:30, and I never in my life saw the highway so bad. It was not cleared. There was no plows on that road. And I'm encouraging people out there, especially people that go every other day, and the people that fly back and forth, to send off emails to if they've got to send it to every government member, well, that they can do it. But send it off to the Minister of Transportation and Works and the Premier, and tell them that this is not acceptable. We can't have our highway like that. People got to go all hours of the day and night to get the flight to go to Fort McMurray. I can't understand why they don't. And as we got closer to Corner Brook,
Yeah.
it was okay. It was awful. And I've only seen what people have shown, but I had the experience of my son-in-law driving in it, and you couldn't go, I mean, you had to go like 50, 60 miles. You couldn't go any more than that.
There's a
You
lot
know.
of people, Steve, who work in Cornwall.
Yes.
Then there's a lot of people in
Yeah.
Cornwall working Steve.
There is.
Yes.
So there's a lot of traffic flow. So let's get a letter sent to the Minister of Transport and see if we can bring here
Yes,
and see if we can ensure we need snow clearing 24/7.
we do.
24/7.
Yeah.
That's the answer.
Yeah.
That's the answer, 24/7, nothing less.
And send it to the MHA responsible for that district.
Well, that too. Yes. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
We'll send it to everybody. All the people.
We, our
And
MHA,
she's there too.
Yeah.
we Scott Wheaton,
Tony Wakeham.
Tony Wakeham.
Yeah.
And there was a couple of good accidents that day too, as we drove a little later and Eddie said there was like 3 trucks to haul, there was a truck over the side, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. There was one too when we
Yeah.
passed by. Yeah.
So we have one other piece of new business from our CAO.
Yeah, just to, and we've mentioned this in the past to the public through the public meetings. But there are many complaints from the public about a couple of enforcement orders that we are hoping to be able to put in place related to unpermitted structures in the community. And the town has the authorities under the Municipalities Act they're delegated to the town for us to act on, and just wanted to update that we do take these seriously. People who have complained to counselors and who have complained to the town directly, we are taking action on these items and fulfilling the statutory requirements under the legislation for us to do that. We are also working closely with community partners to ensure that we are not acting, out of order. We are including the social agencies when necessary, other enforcement in the community in order to facilitate what has to be done. And for the public listening, it is essentially something we have to do. We act in public. Things that we do are subject to, public review, but essentially there are elements of these matters that are private between us and the individuals concerned. So we will keep public informed as well as we can, but some of the inquiries are, probing to a point where we cannot respond appropriately to, but do know that we have the full authority under the Municipalities Act to engage and do these enforcement orders. Additionally, just to bring to the attention of council that recently it was brought out by the government of Newfoundland and the premier that they're taking a closer look at properties where apartment buildings and hotels and items that are necessary. The town does have the full authority to enforce fire and life safety regulations when it comes to ensuring that the fire and life safety issues are addressed by landlords and those operating hotel properties. And so we are in discussions with the fire department to ensure that we double down on making sure that things that have been done in the past as far as fire and life safety exercises by the fire department in the community are reactivated to meet the new regulations and requirements that may arise. But even the current regulations, we have the full authority to go out and do this kind of thing. Normally, only when we receive a complaint. But now we may instigate something that's more
Scheduled
of a
inspection.
scheduled inspection with the community in full knowledge, and then they would go out and perform these life safety inspections.
Do that include Airbnbs?
That part is not as well developed because the Airbnb activities is the subject of even a number of municipalities that put in place Airbnb legislation or regulations for each community. In the case here, I haven't even addressed that internally, but it's something we have to look at as well because that is commercial activities going on within the boundaries of the town that should actually be, at the very least, understood and detailed, but as to whether it can be appropriately regulated on a small scale basis is something we'll have to investigate and make a report.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so on that note, I would ask, your question.
I just got, I guess, two. One, I guess, is probably more of a call for January, but in our discussions earlier about the rock physiotherapy purchase of land up in that area, it brought me back to having been a student up in the heavy equipment site and the amount of dust, particularly as our climate becomes more and more dry. In the summers, the amount of dust and stuff that's generated up on the site sometimes, and the impact that that must have on places like the Acadian and so on. And I know that the instructors, the field instructors, do a lot to mitigate that and make sure that students aren't too close. But I still think there's an opportunity there for us to consider planting a bit of a tree line behind those buildings, between that and the field site, to kind of create a green belt there that would deal with some of the dust and you know, other things. So I think that's something we should possibly consider and look at. There's all kinds of different grants that come available for tree planting, and but I think that would be it would, you know, kind of tree line there would do all kinds of things. I think it would brighten it up. And
I think it's a wonderful idea, but because CNA gets the land for us for free as a grant.
Yep.
Why can't we ask the College of North Atlantic, who's got $100 million budget, to put a green belt? Question?
Yeah, just regarding this, when we looked at, initially, we looked at putting the daycare centre, if it was going to be between the college and the SPCA. And this topic came up in the meeting that we had with the college. And it was suggested by them that we put crushed asphalt down. So what we've done is the asphalt has been replaced, or has been replaced here. We've taken the old asphalt, chipped it, and the idea is that we can, next summer when it's warm enough, we can lay that and roll it on there as a kind of, you know, a measure to cut the dust back along that stretch of road that runs back.
Yeah, I still think
Yeah.
a green belt would look really, would be a nice feature there, don't it?
Like the asphalt is
You
one
cut down
line
the
percent.
sound,
Yeah.
the noise, the air pollution, et cetera, right? So I just think that's something. we
Right. And just aesthetically,
Yeah.
you know, you go by there, you see these, you know, well-built structures.
Yep.
And then you see all this heavy equipment going in the background.
Yep.
I think it would make a big difference driving through that area.
Yeah.
In the heavy equipment school, they got all the equipment, they can source the topsoil. It's just a matter of partnering with them and getting a proper
absolutely.
shrubbery or trees as an easy one.
Yeah,
Less-
I think they would, you know, certainly be amenable to that. My other thing is probably in January, but I would like to, we've done a lot of things and we've done studies on being a college town, and I've had my, anyway, comments on all of that. But initially we were supposed to be the headquarters for the College of North Atlantic. As you all know, that's long gone. We got a building that says headquarters. That's the only headquartered part of the college that exists here. I would like, from a government's perspective, to have some understanding of how this transition happened, when it happened, when the decision that the president no longer lived in this area happened. Did it happen, or did the president just slide into St. John's or whatever? But I think if we are to continue to have a presence in this community, a college presence in this community beyond heavy equipment, that as a town to really get back involved with the whole process, because right now I would suggest that you know, in a year or two, we'll have the heavy equipment school. That's it. And that's not good enough for the community where it all started.
Maybe what we can do is ask for, because I'm sure policy come from the board of directors of the College of North Atlantic.
Yeah.
Why can't we put in a request for the board to meet in Stephenville at their next board meeting?
Mhm.
And that they would come and give a presentation and meet with council.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Good idea. Good idea.
I think so, because Mr. Mayor, you're well aware, you worked program development, and I did for 7 years, and we had a well-established program development covering all the different programs and expanding. And by the time I left, I think we were down to 2 people, and maybe now just.
I think
Just got it.
close to 20 of us. I think.
Yes, yeah. Each school and looking at programs, coordinating with the different professions and other colleges. It seemed to be going so well, and it slowly deteriorated, and I don't even know if it's really exists anymore.
We were given a bit of information yesterday that the COVID impact has really impacted how we work that are working with college. And again, in a lot of quarters throughout the country right now, it's the brick and mortar is in danger of not being as necessary as it was as much, with huge number of virtual workers. In this case, they have 5 different categories, we were told, of workers working for the college. Some are fully work from home, some are partial, some are working at headquarters on a basis, and some are full-time work from a college facility. So that was, you know, an interest that they've got it down to exactly the categories that they have.
Exactly. Now,
And that needs to be translated into exactly what does it lead with
Exactly.
Stephenville's, you know, do we have?
and as someone who worked for at least 20 years leading up to COVID, there's this, yeah, you gotta be, you know, you spin a lot of things, and but the reality is there's changes that have happened. This community has suffered greatly because of them. I mean, they've gutted the 2-year programs here, and I think we probably should have fought a little harder, but at the time, particularly staff at the college were completely silenced. We weren't, you know, so there's different things that have happened. But at the end of the day, I think as a community, it would be nice if we had an understanding of what is the College of North Atlantic as it currently exists now, and what does that mean for headquarters? Like, take the name off the building, take the headquarter word off if it's not headquarters. But like, to me, it's just it's not good enough. And the other piece is, and I guess that's a bigger piece for the college, but as the government has, I guess as the college has moved further away from originally when the college started, when the community college system started in this province, it started under the same setup as the university, right? And so it had its own budget, it answered the Treasury Board, all those things. It was kind of arm's length, and now it's no longer arm's length. And as we've seen with a lot of organizations with government, the closer to ministers, I guess, to government the organizations get, the less autonomy. And sometimes the less autonomy means no growth. And I'm talking in riddles because I'm thinking now, am I going to get in trouble as a council member? But anyway, but at the end of the day, I think that their government could get some good feedback by meeting with us as a council to speak on behalf of the community. We've got a lot of knowledge about it around this table alone, let alone, but we also, again, this is the community where it all started, and we've been completely shut out of everything, and I don't think that's good enough.
Final part, the number, deterioration in the number of programs has had a big impact. And in the early days, the number of, I'll call it, extension programs that was offered in the evenings from various trades, from small engine repair to masonry to woodworking. And that was a great thing to have in the community. And then that part has completely disappeared.
When college amalgamated, we had a leadership, and the leadership said that anyone that wants to work at headquarters will move here. You had to come, and if you didn't want to work at headquarters, you didn't want to live in Stephenville or come to the West Coast, there would be no jobs for you. That was what their leadership started off doing.
At the end of the day, we're the headquarters. There's senior executive and the president
President
should be
Ball,
living and working in the headquarters community. Bottom line.
And say what you want on proximity to St. John's
Yep.
being the reason why you gotta be in there, but you can't at one side of your mouth say, we gotta be closer to government and all that, and then on the other side say, well, we got people who work from home because you don't have to be there,
yeah,
right? So,
I'm glad you brought that up, Susan, because the college, like you said, we used to always have our own board member for years and years and years. And I haven't checked lately to even see who the chair is or if we do have a member on the board. But I really think that what you're saying is absolutely right now a priority, that one of our priorities, that we see to it that our college headquarters remains here in Stephenville. It was fought. The premier at the time was the different premier, was, well, a liberal premier, but there was a, no, it was Roger Grimes at the time.
Yeah.
But the MHA at the time had to more or less say, look, you know, that's where it's going. It's not going anywhere else but here. And the other thing now, this I want done as soon as we can, please. I want an update letter sent off to the Minister of Health with a copy to the Premier. I want an update on their 2023 budget, the money that was allocated for the study on, or whatever it's called, for a new base long-term care center in Stephenville. That was in the budget in 2023.
Yeah.
So I want to see when that's going to start, if it started, how long it's going to take. And if not, we'd like to see it started ASAP, because that needs to go in writing.
Yes. So let's get updates on that. And,
Yeah.
before I call for Jeremy, one thing it was great conversation, great background from, there's four of us here that worked at the College of North Atlantic. Councilor White, Councilor Hines, Deputy Mayor Susan Fallon, and myself. But at the end of the day, when you got a board of directors that has the college headquarters in Stephenville, Newfoundland, and that board of directors haven't even come to meet with us or reached out to us, they're negligent in their duties as a board.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
So on that note, I would ask for a motion to adjourn.
So
Moved by Councilor Tom O'Brien, second Deputy Mayor Susan Fallow. All in favor? And Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
yes. I guess we got one